Okay, this was a beautiful theme I wanted to have, because it was I wanted to talk about what I was attempting to do yesterday by this H2O. Who would think? We don't reflect over this so much, but who would think that there is water in the air? Who would think there is air, oxygen, in the water? I was talking about this friend in Israel, Haifa, that was a swimmer. And he, for the first time, I asked him, have you ever been afraid out in the ocean? No, never afraid, because he is this cool, he is so cool with the water, the elements, that he is more in the water than... So I asked him, no occasion? No, only one occasion. And that was the occasion that I told you about yesterday. He felt so heavy, dragged down. He couldn't swim, he couldn't struggle his way back again. So he was like a falling stone. And that was for him a scary moment, because he knew there were no oxygen in that water, no air. That's how it is. An aeroplane that falls like this in mid-air because lack of oxygen. It's an open space, the space without that kind of thing, and it must boggle the mind of the atheists, the leftists, and those that doesn't believe in God, but believe in creation. Because who it's just mind-boggling. It's hard to get to grips with. How come that air and water are separated? Either it should be air or water. It can't be both in the same element. Yet it is. And different elements, there are, in different parts, there are different elements intertwined in each other, like a unity. So in our body, I will go so far, there is a unity. Secularists, those that don't think we have a personality, like a entity that is self-dependent, that is individual. We are talking about more clear talk. We are talking about life, the entity of life. Because you have a body, you can see a body. It's carcass. It's nothing. If it's not breathed air, breathed life into it, it's this. When you have air, it's breathed water into it. and when you have water, it's breathed air into it. So it have this balance. It holds this everything together. That is quite amazing how the balancing of air and water and all these different elements are intertwined, are harmonizing. Even me. How can life be in a body like me? It's something that evolutionists that depend their theory to be a science fact. It's pity on them. They think what they say is science fact, not a science fiction. Water. And way before, when I was starting to write some debates or explored myself in a way, that wanted to see what could be written about more or less random topics. It's interesting. And back in those years, 80s, 90s, I was in debates, and still those leftists and secularists, I don't separate. They are innate, like a union of itself, a bad union, because they have no wits. They have no. It will take for them millions of years, milliards of years to come to grips with the fact that God exists. The same amount of years that they claim the evolution have taken place. Well, I don't. I will make them a fool, as they did with me and many more that believed in Christianity. Even the secularists have taken over in the school system. The theory of evolution is, for them, a science fact. It's a science fact for them that evolution have taken place. I obviously can't dispute those theories because I'm not a scientist. We like to explore every one of us as a human being, as even species. We like to explore everything. We like to find out what is what, what is what there, what is what here. And back in those years when I started writing, I experienced they tried their best to make me a laughing stock. They tried to do it. And of course I felt a fool. I felt as a fool. But an honest scientist wouldn't do that. An honest explorer wouldn't make a fool of something else. They make a mockery of Bible. Just listen to them. Just pay that attention that their way of framing their own theory is by making fool of others. It's they are not preoccupied with such thing that I am. Like the DNA, I ask questions, and they have never heard those questions before. I ask questions, not taken out of the blue. No, I ask questions to those that believe in evolution. Does the DNA that operates in every cell, the function in every cell is directed, commanded or initiated by the DNA code of each and every cell? Does the DNA know the trajectory from the start that it's going to end up as a human being? The development of the eye, as they claim, before the eye, it was just a simple organ that could register things around. How can those stupid idiots, as I would say, and that is not an argument of its own, they are in fact stupid idiots. And it is not an argument for my own theory. They are, that is a fact, science fact. How can they believe that the DNA of each and every cell is going to be something else entirely, or something better than it already is? And the soup they are talking about, which the cell was created from, you see, the cell is an organ in itself. It's a machinery. At every bits and parts in that machinery. If you have an engine, you take out the piston. How would it work? You wouldn't even define it as an engine. Okay, we take out the carburetor. No, it wouldn't work. And a tractor on the field without the wheels, how would it work? It's just so obvious. And I said to them, yes, another question. How would a cell even be created by itself, randomly, by this soup they are talking about? I think their brain is more or less similar to that meat soup. I don't know. Yes, that's my statement of them. How can a cell that is so dependent on each other's chemical balance, substance, time related, chemical related, temperature related, everything, and it's so vital for this cell to operate, function. How can it come together in this very specific, unique way? They have no answer. Those that make fun of me have their question made. Because everything is made up by cells. And if you go deeper, it's a world, a universe of its own, like particles. That is for them, as long as they are able to define the word quarks. They know a little bit about quarks, but it's like this. They know the name, and they are high and mighty. As long as they can define something, they are high and mighty. And that is the first chapter, the first small chapters in the Bible that describe the leftists. the atheists. I love them because they made me speak. So back in those days, they tried to make a fool of those religious beliefs, and they don't regard the Bible as something. That is a theme of its own. That is a issue and topic of its own. How Bible can be if you get rid of, if you got rid of the Bible, we will not exist. So to preserve the world, we can preserve the Bible. Because if the Bible were to go away, let me write it down so you can see how I would frame it. We can do it a little bit. It was too much. The letters were too much. If the Bible did not exist, we would not exist. Get rid of the Bible. That's the fight. The fight with the secularist is the Bible. It's always the Bible. And now, I admit, because to go for the Bible is, for me, as a task. Bible is a task. It's not a book, it's a task. It's not a book. Bible, for every generation, every centuries, every time, have been that task. I don't go for the King James or which king version the Bible is written. No, I go for the Hebrew Bible. And nowadays, I've been talking, even with people that is putting the books together. The old scripture. They are looking for the pure original of their book. You see, if we can't keep the Spirit living in our heart, if the Spirit is not in our heart, we would be dead. Let me frame that. That is a kind of an obvious question. I have to. That is too big too. So I have to. I have to lessen the width. Without the Spirit in our heart, we would not live. So, despite what the leftists are saying, they are living their own conundrum, because their fight is with their living. The dead is fighting with the living. Wow, the dead is fighting with the living. To reject to reject God is to reject life. That is the topic of today. To reject God is to reject life. I love this. That is a good quote. So they try to get rid of the Bible. They even say the Bible is translated in so many versions that you would never know, and that is true. What they say about the Bible is true. That's why I more or less stopped reading it. First of all, it's a converted version, and I'm so influenced by the Pentecostal narrative of the Bible, I have to say. I still believe in Jesus, and I still believe I'm saved by His blood, Messiah. That's the anthem. But the narrative is so poisonous. So I want to have the cleaner version. That's why I'm listening to rabbis, not that reject Jesus per se. They don't reject Jesus. They just don't talk about Him as a person. He is absent in their books, and that is a good thing. Because you can't, as I said, the secularists, they are, as long as they can define or know a word, they can say a word, and they think that they are high and mighty. But the Hebrew people doesn't even mention Jesus, because He's void. He's not appeared yet. I don't want to mock the Jews here, but I think that is one of the reasons they don't mention Him, because every sign that they are when they are talking about Messiah, every one of those signs, I believe it's referring back to this guy. It's bad word of Jesus, but referring back to this, we never know. We never knew then what we know now. But every sign, He took the sin on Himself. He became sin, just to justify the humankind. He was Tikkun Olam. Jesus was the healer. I don't want to go more into this, but say something about the second reason that I left reading the Bible was it's more of a task. I would test God if He's still there without me reading the Bible. And obviously, I'm more preoccupied with the Bible that I don't read than I read. So I'm more preoccupied and see everything around me is getting confirmation of the Word of God. I left the definition of the Bible. If people debate me about what is written where and when, I don't go into those disputes. It's rather awkward for me. I don't like it because I don't want to be a leftist in that regard. I don't want to define what I can't really know. So I keep a low profile. And the Bible is that kind of a task. Either you read it or not. You have to read it, of course. You don't leave it. But the play here with the leftists, the atheists, those rejectionists about God is the Torah, the Bible. The Bible is some kind of a foundation of the Creator, the intervention in time, space, and matter. God intervened in air to let us breathe. Everything is harmonized. If it was more water in the air, and I think we would drown. And we can drink water which contains also air, oxygen, that we need. The blood need oxygen. Everything is so harmonized. So I know the desperation the secularists and atheists have with reality. They can't live in this reality, which is defined by God. God did define everything, and we have to live accordingly. And the more we state for them, God created the reality. God created it. God created you. In as much as we can feel insignificant to the vast universe, we are not insignificant to God, because He even separated every individual from each other in order to see even the similarities that we have to each other. The ants know by its own self who he is, which purpose he got. Have you any purpose, my friend? Are you this ant that are feeling awkward in your own space? That's me too. We are together. That's the Bee Movie for you. Ant and Bee Movie by Spielberg. And even though we feel awkward in the space we are, that we are dropping so fast down, because there is nobody here. That is a different topic, I know, but it's nice to know that we are in unity. Everyone is in some kind of unity, feeling off or feeling similar. Those we think that are similar will more often feel that they are not. So why not be brave about your awkwardness? Be intertwined with other people. Look at the awkwardness of air, having water. The water must feel so awkward, but still it gives us nourishment. It gives us the answer for everything, that God is innate in everything. Okay, that was today's crazy video, and we can do this. In the end, to reject God is to reject life. Okay, shalom everyone.